Welcome back to your fix of Brookvale Park and Witton Lake's history. If you're local, welcome back. If you're not local, I don't know if you've seen the first one, but there is another one to watch before you watch this one. But honestly, the order doesn't matter because it's all interesting. But this is all the bits that I just happened to not have at the time when I threw out the first video. Things have popped up since. Some interesting stuff. Some sad things along the way too, which is a shame. Actually, I might as well throw that one out. The whole walk between, this is more GEC kind of focused, but the whole route from the magnet underneath Spaghetti Junction itself to the canal, so you can then walk over to Aston Reservoir, that's closed for the rest of the year apparently. We tried to get through that the other day. There's loads of works going on. I don't know if they were taking the piss, but they reckon they're going to be going on until February next year. So already documenting things, and things have changed. So I do recommend you go out there and get some photos and videos and some nice memories of everything you do see, because things seem to be getting cleared out of the way and changed rapidly. Considering the circumstances, it's quite annoying. But we'll go in here. Actually, some really cool bits that have popped up this time around. And I don't know too much about everything specifically, but I just think I just want to share them, keep it all in this place. It might be just a nice kind of 20 minutes for you to sit down and look through some of the history with me, catch up. And yeah, it's just nice to see. I think sometimes just browsing through things yourself can get a bit monotonous when that's all we can really do with our lives at the moment generally. So I think it's quite nice to just sit and watch other people browse sometimes. We spend a lot of time doing that. We're watching a lot of people walk around and talk about where they are. Will Self, you probably heard of him. He's got a lot of stuff online as far as just using your surroundings and walking around and using that as knowledge, essentially. Just walk around and interpret everything and just put yourself in the actual place on the earth where you are, rather than being distracted by the houses and roads around you. Just try and imagine exactly where you are. Get some old maps, figure out where the hell you actually are when a few hundred years of like buildings haven't influenced your brain. Right, so this is it's going to be a good one. There's a nice old... I'm going to thank Paul Perkins for most of the new bits in here. This is via the Stockland Green History Group. Quite a lot of the information is from there. Other bits from online. So just a little disclaimer there saying anything used is not for profit at all. This isn't monetized, anything like that. So this is all for public pleasure and archiving and just everyone having a nice time, because that's what it's all about. So there's a nice new photo that we didn't see last time from Brookvale Park on the George Road and kind of Rosary Road, Abbey Road bit. Yeah, that one didn't pop up last time. I don't know if her kegs are down, if she's got knee pads on. I'm quite confused about what's happening there. There you go, it's nice and quiet whenever it is. Obviously all the clear land still at the back there, none of the Brookvale Limited estate knocking around at this point. The swimming bath's still there, the little island there. So there's our major update, this little island with the trees on. A much cooler bit of history than previously I knew about anyway. I don't know if you know more than me. Bear with if you do, because I don't think a lot of people know about this bit. Right. So here's another old map from 1833. This is pre-everything, really. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing around. It's all fields. The Hawthorne Brook is feeding the Witton Upper Pools there. They're still running down to these three. What were they called? Squadling Pools or something? Swaddling Pools, can't remember. But these three pools, they've all been filled in. And obviously, they aren't there anymore. So that's the bit just after Marsh Hill, and you're coming over to George Road, which doesn't exist at this point. None of it exists. I don't think the cemetery's even there at this point, so we're very early on. So there's the power station with the massive trees would be here, and the brook running down. Three pools that have been filled in by Witton Hall Old People's Home, which is there now. Go and see it. It's pretty cool. You can barely tell. And then down here, it's running into what is now Brookvale's single lake. So here it is. There was a road running through the middle of Brookvale Park, which is cool. So we can only assume that the tree island in the middle, that tree is as old as the road that used to be there. Maybe? I'm not too sure. So like the history goes that it was split into two, well, it was just two pools, happened to be two pools. I don't know if they put the road there themselves, But being two pools then, I think there was two mills running from these pools. There's obviously quite a lot of water going on and very usable. So we have actually got the plans of when they wish to turn this into a reservoir for water storage purposes, which is coming up next. But yeah, really interesting. I mean, is there anything else really notable? It's rubbish resolution. I apologise for the resolution. But yeah, we'll move it along. Oh, there it is. Freeformer Swadkins pools. There you go. Thanks, Paul Perkins, for the annotation. Right, so here's another older map. Newer than that one, so you can see it's moved along a little bit because Brookvale is one piece. Just here. And they've installed a keyboard just on this side of the road, like a massive Korg, I think it was. So, more importantly, this episode, we're going to quickly check on that road which disappeared. Then we're going to move on to the spectacle of the day, which I didn't know anything about until like literally now. And yesterday I was taking photos of this building, which I haven't uploaded yet, but I'm going to just do another big video on just this next part. So this is just an update, just telling you what's coming up really. So let's back out of that for a second. Get that ready to go for a minute. Right, let's dive into here. And here, I believe. Brilliant. Right, so this old map, annotated, which is helpful. So you got your Marsh Hill there. Brookvale Road here. So here's Brookvale Pools, split into two with the road running through it. So you can see, yep, good. Up here, yeah, the Witton Lakes. Up there, nothing much has changed. I mean, again, these a really big boathouse or something happens here. Some people now will remember this, but yeah, it's still not on the map there. I don't know what is here because I imagine the dam isn't built yet because they're not using these for the water company yet. I don't believe. Oh yeah, they are township water. No, township boundary. So it's just pools still. It's the intended reservoir. There's a really good newspaper clipping. Well, really good. It's a shame, really. But when they're building this and putting the dam in, I think a problem happens on Gypsy Lane. The dam breaks through and then water flooded all down here, took someone's cottage out, wiped out all the works that were going on when they were clearing the pool. But then it just filled Brookvale down the road and they were trying to clear that at the time. So yeah, I'll try and bring it up. It's really good newspaper clipping from back in the day. Big flood. Catastrophe, really, but no one lived around here, so it wasn't much of a problem. Imagine what it did to the land. I guess, what, 46 million gallons, I think, in that pool. 46 million in Witton Lakes and 33 million in Brookvale, I believe, somewhere around there. But what's cool about this map is you can see the intended reservoir line here. So that is what it looks like now. If you follow this, the bold line. That's where the water now sits, where it used to sit much thinner down that brook end. So obviously, lots more land here. If it was boggy, I don't know. And then it just widened out quickly from there. But now it comes all the way up here in a big kind of pointy thing, doesn't it now? So big change. There's the road running through it to be taken. Right. The rolling mills down here. So here's where the mills are. There's also plenty of newspaper clippings from the 1850s of a pub or like inn called the Boat Inn, I believe. Plenty of stuff regarding that place as well, which I want to bring up in the future. Because this is just all history before history, isn't it? I mean, I thought the band, bloody hell, what's it called? The pagoda thing that was built, we were looking at in the last video, the bandstand. I thought that was impressive and that had been robbed from us. But before that, there's another history which we'll know absolutely nothing about, and I doubt there's any scraps left of, really. I mean, we've got mills, and God knows where all the bits and bobs to them have gone. And yeah, that pub there's some really good stories surrounding the pub. I wish that was still there. That would be nice. I mean, even the corner shop around here doesn't sell cans anymore. That's where this area went, you can guess. But no, it's up and away, man. It's all good. Another interesting thing, actually, while we're here, because I thought this was pretty cool, and it'll make good use of this book. Right. So it is in here somewhere, because actually me and my mum were talking about this the other day, which is cool. So this is a book from 1927. It's the new standard encyclopedia. Piked this out of my mum's house the other day. So this was her dad's. So Nice and old. All signed and that. Oh, Joyce has signed the front as well. That's cool. Right, so there we go. Right at the back, though, I mean, the measurement here, as you can see, is 7 change 2 furlongs. Might be 4 furlongs and 7 chains. So chains being a measurement at the time. And, like, I actually happened to come across this before I saw this map today. So that's pretty cool, because the units of measure are in this super old book, which is useful. I think it's so, yeah. Length. Right. Hopefully I can show you. That'd be cool. Right, so we've got... A furlong is 10 chains. A chain is 4 poles. 1 pole is 5.5 yards. 1 yard is 3 feet, and 1 foot is 12 inches. So we're playing with, what was that, 4 furlongs and 7 chains. So it's half a mile, because 8 furlongs is a mile. 10 chains is a furlong, so 4 furlongs. 22 yards. And 7 chains. 4 poles. Wow. There you go. Hopefully you can see this on the camera. The book's a little bit worse for wear. I don't know if you can see. I don't know. Is it mirrored? I don't even know. It's in there somewhere. I'm not sure which page it was. But there you go. That's interesting. So that's measurements. Rewind that, listen to that again, and you might figure it out yourself. But there you go. The world of furlongs and chains. I digress. So I think that's all I wanted to do with that map, really. See Aston Reservoir down here. There's already a mill pool there, so yeah, that'll be adapted too. I don't think that was being used for the waterway at the time. So this is an iron. Was this the brook still running? Yeah, I guess that's the natural brook, the intended iron pipe. Just going to run down here and straight down there, which you know you might see it popping above ground a couple of times just when it jumps the canal. I believe it jumps the canal and doesn't go over it. There's pipes around there. But yeah, we'll go and have a look. It's all down the road. We've got to go the long way now because, like I said, underneath Spaghetti you cannot go. So you have to go all the way around, like underneath Spaghetti Junction, Judge Road to get back now in a circle. It's very long-winded, and it is a shame because it's a nice circle. But it was. Very progress getting in my way. So I'm going to pull out to... Is there another map just here? Right. Is that when it's done? So this is when it's actually done. You can see it's popped right out. Now it's the shape that we're all very well acquainted with. Yeah. Exactly to plan, it would appear. The 3 pools now gone, as you can see. And up to Witton Lakes. Here, new buildings popping up. Too sure what's going on there. Water. Ugh, can't tell. Nearly, but there you go. Right, intended well and pumping engine just up here. Well, that's cool because I didn't know this was here in this map, so this has helped. It's going to take us right back into where I wanted to be. So yeah, here's the intended place. So this must be... I can't remember the date of these. Ooh, somewhere around 1850, somewhere around there. I think 1870 they're going to start throwing pump houses up everywhere. Seems to be the thing. So there is our intended pump house station. The pump house, which you will recognise at the moment. If you go to the Perry Common end. So this guy is there now. So if you go across Witton Lakes, don't peel off towards... Well, don't go straight towards... So if you're coming from Marsh Hill End, don't go straight to Bleak Hill. You kind of bear on the left-hand side and you'll pop out of Perry Common Road. And then this will be on your right-hand side, I believe. And so will the old park keeper's house as well, which is all overgrown and graffitied and locked up and metal doors and, you know, completely gone. But it is there. And this is what remains of the pump house now. And I believe it's used to a point. Like it would be used if something went wrong with our water supply from Wales, we'd use this. But I don't think our water supply in these pools is anywhere near enough to even sort this city out for like the best part of a day. It's in, 74-ish million gallons is all we'll have. And I think we use that in the morning round here. It's stupid. So there you go. That's what we have now. You may recognise. Here's the hitter then. This is what it used to look like, which I didn't know. And it's going to take us down a little hole of other places that look quite similar. Shoo! Start there. So yeah, there's a little circle of where it actually ended up. Just at the top of this lake. Opposite, you'll have that St. Mary's Church as well on the sides of the other grounds that are opposite on the road. Right, we'll get to that. Okay, so here's our pump house. There. Now, Gothic, Georgian, not too sure. I mean, is this an electric house too? You see electric. There's one similar to this by the GEC end on the canal, which may have looked just as good as that. And I wonder why they was so Roman Greek-esque as well as this being very Carpathian-y kind of what would you call it? Transylvanian kind of, yeah, Georgian Gothic pump house. Quite religious looking sometimes, a lot of these places, but again, apparently not the intended purpose. And that's the chimney. And obviously this is all gone now, and it looks like we just saw. This is 1927. And now it's, just a box that's been refurbished. It has like a tiny electric version of whatever pump would have been in that one. Which I believe wasn't a beam engine, not quite the right shape. So it's some kind of big-ish pump, not as big as the ones I'm about to show you. But, yeah. There's one in Longbridge. I don't know if that's still... Yeah, that's still there. Is that still there? So very similar, these pump houses. And again, very churchy. Quite... Not cathedral-esque, but I mean, it doesn't look too far out of place when you look at, I don't know, is it St. Martin's, I believe, and the other one on the end of George Road. I mean, they're not even this grandiose, and they are churches, Methodist, but look at the building. It's amazing what they would throw up for various purposes back in the day, and this looks pretty old. I mean, the photo looks old anyway, but then this looks fairly aged as a building as well at that time, so... They stood the test of time too. Here's another one in Leicestershire, Cropston Pumping House. Again, very church-esque. A lot of spires, towers, all the kind of things that you would usually associate with, I don't know, even your council, the government, or like all buildings. Like you look around Digbeth, I've got one of the Roton Hotel. I've got a video of that. Very similar kind of build design as far as the different colours of bricks and fascia and stuff like that. But again, yeah, these things, if you came back, say we all got wiped out, the aliens came down, whatever, had a little look around, I don't think, without going inside, they would guess that these things were pump houses, is my point. So this one's 1870. It had extended use and got extended as a building from 1894, and then by 1950 it's disused, tastefully refurbished into a hotel and restaurant, I believe, wedding venue, whatever else, the pumping station. I want to go down and just have a look, see what it's all about. I don't know how much is left of the original fittings, but that would be really cool to go and have a look at. And go yourself and let me know how it is. I haven't paid for a pub meal in like a year. I don't know if I can do it now. The cooking quality in this house has gone through the roof since this whole lockdown thing. Like, going out for food is crazy talk when you've got your own cooker, because like literally cooking, you can do it all at your house, we've figured out. But last night we did have a good bad night, and then today I feel like shit, so lesson learned. Right, there you go for comparison. That's what we're capable of now. If you don't mind, it does the job. Looks like a 1950 secondary school. Right, and then saying that, to say that these pump houses look churchy and everything else and very fancy, to say that the church opposite, St. Margaret Mary Catholic Church, literally Perry Common Road, on the side of the road, you'll see it if you're stood at this powerhouse. That looks like a pumping station to me. It looks like it belongs in Minworth. So, did they get it wrong? Did someone hand out the deeds and was like, that's the pumping house, that's the church, enjoy yourself? And then obviously, oh, bloody hell, the vicar walked into the pumping house. Oh dear, you know what went on. So he stuck the spire on so God could still communicate, obviously. But just not quite as strong as usual. And there's some Google Earth images of it. Some really good. I don't think it's covered. Oh no, it is. It's covered in graffiti right now. But I could barely tell it's in like that kind of ditch. From how you look at it at the moment. Is that another one? Oh, there you go. Right, and yeah, I got some photos. I've not got it on this show, but like the park keeper's house that you can see in this photo. That is still there. It's all gated off now. This is all fenced off, trees. You can't see it at all. So there's a lot of land there, which I wasn't really aware of. It looks like this isn't going to be demolished. Maybe it'll turn into a HMO. Doop, boop, boop. Where's this one? So Sandfields, again, really big ones. This was just to say that these pump houses got massive. The scale of the things that they were used for. I mean, right, how do we approach this? So, chimney bit, quite reminiscent of the GEC one. If you go to my GEC and magnet history video, quite like that. You'll see these all around the place, really, in Townsend, especially around Digbeth. There's a lot of them, and there's a lot of brickwork that goes into them. Like they're intricate as hell. They're not just chimneys. And then this bigger house next to it, I assume, would house the beam engine, being wide and tall. A beam engine being... So what have I got here? Yeah, James Watt, you'll know him about in local history. He's at the James Watt College. This guy invented the beam engine. And then... So this one, what is the 1866 we're talking there. And basically a beam engine, you'll see... I mean, that's the James Watt beam engine. And then you've got the Graysbrook version of that, which was built off the same idea of this James Watt engine around the same time. And that's what's on the middle of... what is that island called? Dartford Circus in town with Matalan on it. It's that big pump you can see in the island. That's a beam engine of James Watt design, but actually made by the Graysbrook guys. Because they needed it for their own uses. And this is the biggest one in the world. And the last one in the world. And it's been... Yeah, it's just stood there now. I don't know what it's doing. It's still serviceable as far as it was in 1964. Still working. So that's there. I'm going to go and have a look at it. This was it when it was... It's not in place. It was moved here in 1964, I believe. That's it when it first landed. When even the roundabout was a much nicer place to be. Not so nice now. All the buildings in that background gone. I think even the flats have gone. So again, history constantly revolving. Don't blink, you'll miss it. Just a bit on the blowing engine. So yeah, 1817 is that big one there. So that's the kind of years we're talking. How far have we really come? When you look at all these things we've looked at today. Just look at the buildings, the plans, everything that happens back then. And then you think you just want to get some litter picked up these days. Or get a sofa moved from your garage that someone's dumped there. And you just can't. But if you want to completely change the land... and its uses back in the day, it was completely doable, all whilst building these beautiful buildings. And I don't know, the population not being, I mean, fairly busy then. I mean, we don't get told that in history, but I believe around 1817, yeah, the population is insane. You start looking at London around this time in 1850. Have a look at the morgue. Mortuary trains, all the trains purely to ship the dead out. Have a look at that. So it's really busy, weird times. There's cholera knocking around. There's all kinds of stuff. So yeah, history very confusing at this time. And these things weigh a lot as well. I'm building these things. 10 tons isn't particularly big. I think the one in here was 20 tons as far as the beam on top. You say 20 tons? Can't remember. And these things are running at like 7 revs a minute, but that's enough. This one's particularly used for firing compressed air into a furnace at 5 psi, I believe, and all of that just to blow some air on some coal. But there you go. That was the Industrial Revolution. It's what we needed at the time, and they made it happen. What's this bit? Oh yeah, just another bit. I don't know what this is all about actually. What are we looking at? Oh yeah, on this map, weirdly, it's still got a boathouse there on the Birmingham Council map of 2017. So it gives us an idea of where the boathouse definitely was. But it looks like there was something here. I don't know if you go there now. This is like a down bit where you can sit. But I'm sure I've got a photo that looks like there's a boathouse or something entertainment-y there. Not too long ago. It looks kind of like the 80s. Well, I'm not too sure. Oh yeah, another little update for you. The Sons of Rest house that we figured out was burnt down in Brookvale Park as well. Here's a picture of that when that happened. I don't remember it being that wooden myself. My memory failed me, but there you go. That was how it ended up, just in case you were wondering. And the quick... Oh yeah, this was cool. Just as far as, yeah, the park opens up in 7th October 1909. The recreation grounds had boating available once again and sporting facilities such as a bowling green and tennis courts, and it also had an open-air bathing pool, complete with diving boards on the lakeside. The area was enhanced with ornamental fish ponds and gardens and was complete with the bandstand. Although bathing and paddling in the lake was frowned upon, other than at the Lido, a children's paddling area was provided on the brook just before it entered the large lake, which we've seen that area too. This has become overgrown, and now this was nice to get at least some kind of reasonable explanation as to why it's such a shithole right now, and that would be because there's rare amphibians are present and we can't do anything with the land now because we've got to preserve the wildlife. So that's a shame, but at least it's a reasonable explanation, better than just we were left behind. But then again, look at how much of those checks happened when they built spaghetti, you know what I mean? I mean, like, we were saying this, we went for a walk at Witton Cemetery, and you're looking at the old graves of, like, 1894, whatever's knocking around. And if you happen to be alive and you wanted to grieve there, you just can't, because the M6 is there now, just screaming past, and can't believe you can get planning permission for that, but I can't get a window put on my flat. But those are the times. I guess necessities is the means. Right, so what we got here? So this is like a quick... I thought this actually happened and it didn't, but it feels like it did. But this is like the whole White City project which folded, which was supposed to be a recreation facility and sporting park at Salford Park on the Aston side. But instead, they thought they'd do a 3-mile long boulevard from Salford Park, passing over the Tame, the Canal and Railway, through Brookvale Park, crossing Marsh Hill into Witton Lakes. Yeah, so basically the walk we all know, all the way through to like basically the end of Marsh Lane, heading towards Station Road. That was a 3-mile long planned boulevard walk, nicety, all owned by the council. It's nice and cheap to do at the time. Can't really build on the land because it's quite boggy, marshy and rubbish, and obviously the brook's running through it. So that was the plan, and it didn't seem like that happened either because the war happened. Which is a shame. And that's World War One. And then we just didn't get around to it. Shame. Witton Lake's acquired by the Birmingham Council as a fishing reserve in 1914, but not officially opened as a park until 1926. Wow. The mayor had a motorboat cruise around outside with all his official guests. It was a new lung of Birmingham, and it had a new rustic boathouse and a cafe. And boats for hire. Oh, this bit about the Witton Lakes itself, with the moonlight shining onto it, it was a dead giveaway for the GEC, I imagine, when the bombs were flying over. So they filled the area with big balloons, which they tied down, and I think these anchor points are still there. We're going to have to go and find them. And that would block the reflection, hopefully, of the pool when they were looking for somewhere to bomb. Now, they don't know if it worked, because the place got bombed. But would it have been worse? Maybe. So there you go. And yeah, the fact that they were completely locked up at night as well, until they started putting houses into the area. But didn't know that. So that bell at the front, it was for last swimmers. That was the bell to tell you to get the hell out of the park. Which is brilliant. And so yeah, long gone are the signs of the mills, the keepers, the fences, the gates, the sporting facilities, the boats. And now yeah, there's push biking. That's about it. And a lot of dog walking though, which is nice. A lot of dog walking. And then a new modern view, it's not so modern now, so definitely worth a look, of the brook running just kind of by the end of George Road and Marsh Hill, kind of all meeting up there. Looked lovely then, to be honest. So there you go. It has got worse in modern history too, just so you're aware it's got worse, okay? Oh, much worse. Look how trash it is beyond the bus stop. Go and have a look, it's rubbish. Ugh. So have we come full circle? It's just some old photos that didn't make it to the last cut because I didn't have them, or I did have them and they weren't this good quality. So just a quick flick through these, and I think we'll call it a day. Wow, another half an hour. I'm so sorry. There you go. 1919. So I guess the war's just finished. 1950, guess the war just started. It's a shame we can't see the balloons up yet. I guess they haven't figured that out yet, but that would have been sweet. Here we go. The kind of park keeper's house. And the bridge, which has been refurbed. I don't believe it's the same bridge, or it's a terrible fascia that they've done on the front of it. As you know, go and see it now. The bridge looks similar. There we go. Nothing better than just getting on a boat and buggering off for a bit. That'd do. Plentiful bread as well. Look how, I guess these are pieces of bread back in the day. And we're in the middle of a war here, and they seem to be getting more bread than most of the local kids. Wow, all this not done yet as well. The masonettes over there. Not yet, just trees. And obviously you're going to have the church over there, right on the far kind of in the distance that you can see towards the back end of Slade Primary School. So that's going to be quite just an open area. I don't think there's a graveyard round there, which I would have thought there would be, with all the kind of church grounds and all that being round there. I don't believe there is. None I know of anyway. And there you go. There's all the new bits when they just opened it pretty much. What, 1909, so 1913, you've got all the bridge is probably starting to fall apart at this point, to be honest. I can't really... It doesn't seem to go too far. Or at least no one bothers taking photos of it anymore. There you go. Bloody hell, busy. Oh, and the interior of the swimming baths, which I don't think I had last time round as well. Pretty interesting. But apparently this got dilapidated really quick, and yeah, they actually blew it up when this was gone as well. They used explosives to get rid of it. So you can see all the bricks and that in the pool right now. If you go and see it on a clear enough day, when the water's not moving around too much, you can see bricks absolutely everywhere. And that's pretty much all of these bits and bobs, really. And that brings me to the end of my talk. That's been a nice one. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, I don't think I've got anything else. I feel like I've had some interesting chats and a lot of lots of walking this week. Obviously, we've had the snow. We've had other videos go up on the channel. There's one on how it is raising a greyhound, if you want to go and watch that. But yeah, so lots of dog walking. Bumped into some characters around the park. I have talked to someone who seemed to know quite a lot about the kind of Count Celeste history and the Friends of Birmingham, the Friends of Witton Lakes and all that stuff. He was talking about the history of that and the plans that didn't come through, the plans that did happen. The park's peak, it sounds like, around 2009 when things seemed to be happening. Telling me about the finances of the whole thing and just how his experience, he still lives here, his experience of the area has been for the last kind of 30 years. So, seems like a problem that's been going on for everyone since ever. So yeah, we need to push to get this park back up to scratch, and it's still a lovely place to be, but we know it could be amazing, and I think it's something we should all come together and push. When the world opens up, I propose some form of group meeting thing where we can talk about these things as a people, maybe not with the official people, and we can just at least pull some ideas together about what we need out of this place now, because the world's obviously changed. And I think it's time that we start adapting our local amenities to our needs, because it's all down to us. We've all got the spare time, and we don't really need the council to be doing this for us. Hopefully we can just start doing it ourselves. But there you go, a little update for you. Thank you very much for listening. I hope that one wasn't too drawn out and confusing. Again, if you want any of these pictures or updates, just give us a message and I'll send them over. Thank you very much. Squatter out.